Hello and welcome to this session. I'll be talking about the Kuccps application using a phone. So you go to Chrome, then on Chrome you search Kuccps. Then after search Kuccps, you go on login. So I know most of you the portal is appearing this way, but now this is what you do. You go on this, you click on these three dots up here, then you change your screen to desktop here. Now this way it will be easier to see the details, so you can log in. Now the dashboard will appear this way. So you go to all programs. Then now let's say you want to apply for degree in law. Go to, so you have several clusters here and each cluster has its own courses. So you go to the cluster that has the course that you prefer, or if you don't know a course that you want to apply, you click on each cluster to check the cluster points and subject requirements. So for law, you go on cluster 1, then you click on this course here, then you'll be able to see the institutions and their cluster points. So right now we are using 2023 cutoff, and you will compare with your cluster points. So these are the student cluster points, they are always the same, 26.835 here. So this column has the students cluster points for law according to his or her results. So let's say the student want to apply for law at JQuat. So this is JQuat here. So you scroll, it's a public university, you can see. This is the code 1249134 is the course code law. So the cluster points are 41.184 and this student has 26.835. So this means this student does not qualify for this course, although you can see the subject requirement for law is B plain. You must have either B plain in English or Kiswahili. So meaning this student, during the application, this student can still submit the application for bachelor's degree in law at JQuat. But now the problem is that he or she does not meet the cluster points of law at JQuat, so you need to be keen. So to confirm the cluster points, you do it the way I'm doing, or you can add the course in the course basket. So you go to the last column here, then you click on add this way. Then I'll show you how to see the course. Let's say the student also chooses education. So education is on cluster 19. So you go on cluster 19. Then you choose education, let's say education science. And so let's say education science art. Let's see. So for you to know whether you meet the cluster points of a course, you compare the 2023 cutoff points with your cluster weight. So you can see this is 27, he doesn't meet. This is 23, he meets. 34, 23, he meets the cluster points. So that way, that's how it is done. So let's say this student wants to choose Garissa University, Bachelor of Education Science. You click on add this way. Let's say he also chooses Bachelor of Education Arts. So for education arts, it's not a must for a student to have a C plus and above in mathematics. So when you have a C plus as your main grade and you also have two teaching subjects for arts that have a C plus and above, you qualify for Bachelor of Education Arts. So here we have so I can see some students who are asking, like for example here, this student has 26.72 as his cluster points for education, and this institution has 26.78. And still, this student cannot be placed in this university. It's a must the cluster points to be higher, even if it's with points 0.1, or it's a must this cluster points to be higher for you to be placed in any course. So let's say the student chooses Bomet University College, so you add. So after this, you go to course basket. So the course basket is here on the top right corner. So you click on course basket. Then you will be able to see all the courses you have been adding. So you can see Bachelor of Law, the student meets the subject requirements of law, which are be plain in either Swahili or English. But now compare the cluster points. His cluster points are 26 and 0.8, and that of institution are 41, meaning the student does not meet the cluster point. But during the application you can be able to submit this course, but you will never be placed in this course. So you need to be keen to check the cluster points, because I have seen several students submitting courses that they don't meet the cluster points. So Bachelor of Education Science, you can see it doesn't meet the subject requirements. Yeah, both of them from both the universities. So Bachelor of Education Arts, you can see he meets the minimum requirements. Also, when you compare the cluster points, his cluster points are higher, 26 compared to 24. Now when you want to apply, let's say you want to apply for this education arts, you pick the code. So we have 1700,494, and yeah, so 1700,494, you go to applications to revision, you go to apply now, then you enter the code. It was 1700,494. Then you wait for it to load. So you can see it is now saying you meet the minimum request. So some students are not comparing the cluster points. They are directly going to insert the code and then submit the courses. You need to first check the cluster points. Then during application for 1A, B, C, you enter the courses that are from one cluster. Let's say you want to apply for education in 3 different universities. You need to, so here you enter the code, that is 1700,494. Then you will be given a notification whether you meet the minimum requirements, subject requirements. So after you have confirmed the cluster points and the subject requirements, you can submit your application. But now, okay, so we have 1A, 1B, and 1C. So 1A, B, and C, you insert the codes from one cluster. Let's say you want to apply for education courses, so you will only insert education courses in 1B and 1C. So you cannot insert an engineering course in 1A, then and maybe education course in 1B. You will not be able to submit the application. So in 1A, B, C, you enter the courses from one cluster. Then 2, 3, 4, you can enter courses in any other cluster point. So when you want to apply maybe for nursing at University of Nairobi, that is 1A, maybe engineering at Technical University, so you will jump, you will only enter code in 1A for nursing, then you go to 2, then you go, so for 2 you'll enter a code for a course from any cluster, then 3 and 4, but it's not a must to fill all these blank spaces. You only fill, only apply for the course that you prefer. It's not a must to fill everything. So when you click on submit, here you choose no, you will not be placed if you miss in all your selected choices, because when you select yes, it means that when you miss out in application, they'll place you in any other university, college, or what, they'll do the application for you. So you need to choose no, then you click on submit. Then because the student had already paid, you only enter the eCitizen code to submit the application. So that's how the application is done.